And welcome to another episode of Horror with Marchese and Buller, where we talk about things. We talk about anything we want, actually, but we are horror writers, and that's why we put the horror thing in the beginning of the show. And we do talk about a lot of horror stuff.
Yes, we certainly do. Horror is our commonality. That's what we have in common. But we talk about anything, really. I sit in my kitchen whilst a dog hounds me, and Will sits in his nice warm attic with his little radiator and his desk. So yeah, we're going to talk about, as a writer, you're expected to read. You know, the done deal is, if you want to become a writer of any calibre, then you have to read quite a lot. You get your ideas from other people's literature, keep abreast of the latest sort of themes. You're given a direction by other people's literature, I suppose. What we wanted to talk about today was, do you feel sometimes that you're forced to read? I mean, I know some people out there will be going, oh my God, no, I love reading. Reading's my life, and I can completely get that and understand that.
Yeah.
But does it ever get boring? Sometimes are you sick of reading? Do you think I'd rather do something else?
And that's, that's the thing, I feel the same way. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, oh my gosh, reading is, my favorite thing and I love it. And yes, you do love it. I understand that you do love it. I'm not saying we don't love it, but what I'm saying is sometimes I'll look at the book and I'll say, I'll feel like I have to read sometimes, because I'll say, I have to get more reading in. I do feel sometimes there are those times when it's just daunting, because you have so much to do between writing, work, your family, editing and stuff like that, then you see this book and you're like, oh, okay, I have to get some reading in. But then the whole point of that is I have to get some reading. It's not that you want to. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. Even watching movies, like I haven't watched the last 3 episodes of The Walking Dead, and I love The Walking Dead.
No, it's just having the time to do things. I can't read in cars or on buses or trains because I get that motion sickness thing. That sort of discounts me taking a paperback on public transport. I do listen to a lot of Audible. I find it's the easiest way for me to consume things, but I think if it was just down to finding a paperback or a hardback to read, then I'd read a hell of a lot less at the moment. I wouldn't consume as many books at all. It's difficult. It is when you have a life, and sometimes, like you say, it's like finding that time to read. You have to read.
It's like you get sucked into this world, and then the time really just goes away. It's unless you're really and as you start reading, you get a little faster. After the first few pages, it starts moving along. But I just pick up the book and I look at my Kindle and I'm saying, I feel guilty, and I know that before I go to sleep I should get like 15-20 minutes.
I have a Kindle, I never have them, but I find it quite hard to read on electronic devices. I think I like the tactile nature of books. I collect books, but I don't really read them. Some of the books I've got upstairs, including books with my own stories, and I've not even opened.
That's the thing, and on the emails I get those free things that I sometimes send to you. And I'm looking at these and I'm downloading them because they're free. I'm like, maybe I'll get to them. And then you think about how many books are out there. I'm never going to get to all this stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's a way to speed reading.
I think a book is a big investment. And I think that's why these bestsellers, like Lee Child and Stephen King and yada, 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 I think that's why they sell a lot of books, because it is a big investment. And if you're going to be spending, all right, they're not very expensive. You can buy a book for $5 or something,
Yeah.
But in terms of your time, they're quite invested. And if you're going to be reading for that length of time, you want to be reading something that's going to be good. And that's why I get why some people don't want to read indie books. I get why people don't want to buy my collection. Because you're going to be investing a lot of time into something that might not pay off. So I think I was saying to you either earlier today or yesterday that I have huge admiration for some of these people out there, some of these reviewers and just generally sort of indie supporters of indie literature. But like James Lewis has been on the show, he genuinely goes out and buys our books. He's got shelves full of indie books, and it's like, that's really admirable, because I struggle to do something like that. Even some of the better known indie writers, like I mentioned Gwendolyn Kais before.
Yeah.
Her book is like $20. it's expensive. It's a big investment financially as well for a book.
That's sometimes that's the press. Sometimes the press they make it that price, and you don't really have too much control over it. But like I used to do the reviews for Unnerving magazine a long time ago, and it's something that you can get to know a lot of people, but like you said, it's a daunting task, and you have to keep up with everything. There was a website that I looked at. It was like one of those cheating, like those for dummy books or something. It was basically about how to hack. It was like a life hacker thing. And it says how to read a novel quick in your spare time. So it said calculate how much you read in let's say a half an hour, right? So let's say you get through 25 pages in a half an hour. So when you wake up, dedicate maybe 20 minutes or however much time you need to kill those. And that's another thing, though. I mean, doing this kind of kills the whole making reading fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it sounds a bit robotic.
Because it's like you're like getting rid of it. It's like I have to get this and this and this.
I have a problem. I have to get out of the way. Yeah,
But going about it that way, though, I mean, just getting those time in, like half an hour here, half an hour before you go to bed, half an hour on the train. You know that you're going to finish that novel in a certain amount of time if you're diligent. Yeah. But then again, it takes all the fun out of it.
It does. I think the most fun I've ever had reading was, now it must be about 15 years ago. I was made redundant by the company I was working for, like a long time ago. And there was about 2 or 3 months. It was just before Christmas I was made redundant. It was late November, I think. Over December and January, and I think maybe even February, I was looking for work, and I was being supported by Lisa. This is when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, and that's the most I've ever read, and it's the most I've ever enjoyed reading. I was buying Stephen King books off eBay for like 2 or 3 books, and just sort of just sitting down and reading all day long, and that's the most I've ever enjoyed reading. But I can't remember the last time I sat down and read a book from cover to cover. I remember off the top of my head reading, funny enough, it was a Dean Koontz book. It was the one I really like. Oh, what was it called? It's the one about sort of heaven and hell and space. You think it's an alien invasion and it isn't. Oh, it's going to annoy me. But anyway, it was a Dean Koontz book, and we went round to Lisa's friend who lives in Leeds, and it was New Year's Eve, and it was just me, Lisa, and a friend at the time. We didn't have the kids at the time. It was before then. And I went into the bedroom because I was just bored, and I had a beer, and I was just sort of sat and I read this book from cover, literally from first page to last. And it's the first, I think, the first and only time from memory that I've ever done that. I really enjoyed it. I'll have to look up what it's called.
And when it's really good, you just get into it, and you want to keep reading, and But anyway. That's the show. Let us know what you think in the comments or on Twitter or any way you want to contact us.
Do you think it's disgusting that me and Will think reading can sometimes be a chore? And another just quick point that sort of goes off on that. Do you ever, when I say you, I mean the collective you, listeners, watchers, or whatever you want to call it, do you read, when you publish in a collection, do you read everyone else's stories in the collection? Because that's something else I sort of feel duty-bound to do. But again, I find it a real chore, even though I find some really good stories in there, and I don't regret it when I've done it. But I do, I'll get a collection. Like, oh my god, I've got to read everyone's stories in this. I feel duty bound to do it because, it's an achievement for them as much as it is for you to be published in that thing. So pay them some respect. At least read it. But I do find it a chore.
Yeah. And on that note, make sure you read.
It's all with Marchese and Paula. It's all with Marchese and Paula.
is our commonality. That's what we have in common.
Yeah, you get these. I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
No,
You're the one drinking, not me.
Are you sure there's not anything in this Zevia that makes you a bit loopy?
It might be the stevia.
Yeah.
No,
You're reading your Kindle. Yeah.
Yeah, you're reading your Kindle. You get this.
What? What?
It's like. No, you're reading your Kindle and and I even looked at this thing online. It was like a cheat for are you like a pendulum now? You froze.
Sorry, go on.
No, I looked at.
See how long it was before you noticed. Right, I'm off. I'm going. Sorry, go on, man. Sorry. Yeah.
Basically, let me see. Wait, forgot.
It was about
Are you
you
crying?
get bored of.
Your tears
No,
are like...
I'm just. It's the dog. He's right next to me, and I'm not completely allergic to him. But
Oh, I see.
I just get yeah. We've been laughing before as well.
You were laughing that hard?
Yeah. But we talk about anything, really. I sit in my kitchen whilst a dog hounds me, and Will sits in his nice warm attic with his little radiator and his desk. But you had a subject you wanted to discuss today on Monday, because it is Monday today.
Yes. Stories and...
Yeah, sorry, I was just cracking opening another bottle. This is called the Green Gecko IPA.
Oh, like Geico?
Not Geico. Gecko.
Do you get
like
Geico over there?
Do we have Geico?
Yeah. The insurance company.
No, we don't. I only know of it because I've seen the American adverts on the TV channels. Yeah, so that's the only way I know about Geico. You know.
Wait, so the American TV channels actually advertise American stuff over there?
Yeah, because we don't officially get the American TV channels over here. I just get it as part of the streaming service.
Oh,
so it's literally what you see. So I get all the American adverts and stuff as well. So yeah, liberty.
Oh
liberty.
my! That's the most annoying commercial. Oh my god!
Yeah, we get all that. So.